Good morning. I have a cracking programme for you this morning. Stay with me. This is 5 Live Overnights with Laura Mcghie. It's Sunday, the 4th of May. We are flying through 2025, aren't we? How are you all? Are you well? Hope you have had a wonderful Saturday. I am back to keep you company all the way through until 5 a.m. this morning. We are live on BBC Radio 5 Live, local radio, Radio Scotland, Wales, Ulster and Foyle. And thank you very much for choosing me as your company. This morning we are discussing autism, pet bereavement, alcohol at football games and Nepo babies. So hopefully something for everyone. And you know that this is your programme wherever you are this morning. You decide what happens, what direction we go in by getting in touch and joining in the conversation. I am sure that you have got something to say about our topics, or maybe you want to share your own experiences. You might even just want to come on and say hi and tell me that you're listening and where you are. And that is fine as well. Please get in touch with me this morning. Get involved. It would be lovely to chat. Here are the numbers. Get your pens ready. Type it into your phone. Save it so you can get on the line waiting to come on and talk to me. The number to call this morning is 08085 909 693. And you can text me instead of, as well as, 85058 is the number to text. And you can get in touch with me on social media as well. I am Laura Mcghie on social media, so come and find me there. Let's go into a bit more detail about our talking points this morning, shall we then? You might have seen the social media videos, the 5 signs you're autistic. You may have heard about long waiting lists for autism diagnosis. You might know or sense maybe that the number of people deemed autistic, they're going up fast. To some, autism is a fear. What if this happens to my child? To others, it's an identity. To some, it's a superpower. But what is autism? Well, for someone to be diagnosed with autism, they need to have persistent difficulties in social life and in social communication. That's according to Ginny Russell, an associate professor in psychiatry at University College London. She says examples of this behaviour can range from a lack of turn-taking in conversations to being completely non-verbal. Now, Michael Blasland has been investigating autism diagnosis for a new Radio 4 series called The Autism Curve.
The headline numbers show something like an 8 times increase in new diagnoses between 1998 and 2018. So that's over about a 20-year period, as I say. And those numbers are pretty consistent in different countries, developed countries around the world. So about 8-fold increase, which is an astonishing rate of increase. It's actually exponential in the proper meaning of that word. So hence the title of our series, The Autism Curve. It's an exponential curve. But I think the key thing here is that the number of people who are diagnosed with autism is not the same as the number of autistic people. We have to make that distinction. So these headline numbers you're seeing, they're not necessarily telling you how many people actually have it.
This morning, let's talk about your experience of autism. Maybe you are autistic or a family member is. Has it been tough? Is it your identity? Do you embrace it? Or have you struggled to come to terms with it and would like extra support? Get in touch with me this morning. I would love to speak to you. 08085 909 693 is the number to call. 85058 is the number to text. Now, if you were listening to the programme yesterday, we spoke to one of our lovely callers, Steve. It was one of those conversations with a caller that will stick with me for a while. So Steve came on to talk about one of our talking points, as you may well this morning. But Steve was obviously emotional. He had literally just lost his dog Maya after 14 years of friendship. And you really responded to the call, with many of you sending in your thoughts, your best wishes, which just goes to show what a community this programme really is. Now, psychologists say that the loss of a dog is so painful because owners aren't just losing the pet. It could mean the loss of a source of unconditional love, a primary companion who provides security, comfort, and maybe it's even a bit of a protégé that's been treated, mentored like a child in your household. Well, later in the programme, we will hear from Zoe Sinclair, the founder of This Can Happen, which commissioned the first ever research study into the impact of grief, specifically in the workplace.
So many respondents told us that they would come back to work and nobody knew what to say to them because we don't know how to talk to somebody who's had a loss, whether it is of a person in their family, whether it is a pet, something really important. People just don't know what to say.
This morning, let's talk about getting through a pet's bereavement. How do you know when is the right time to grieve? Some feel anger, which may be directed at anyone involved with a pet, including family, friends, the vet, perhaps. Caregivers may also feel guilt about what they did or did not do, or they may feel ashamed to be so upset. How was it going back to work for you and dealing with the sympathy of a bereavement, or maybe the lack of sympathy? Tell me the stories of your beloved pet this morning, and hopefully we can help listeners like Steve that are going through a tough time when it comes to losing a pet. But hopefully together on this programme, we can also celebrate the family members, the furry family members that bring so much joy into our lives as well. So please get in touch with me this morning. 08085 909 693 is that number to call me on. 85058 is the number that you can punch into your phone and send a text message to, and it comes up on the screen right in front of me and I can read it out, so that everyone can hear your thoughts, your views, your opinions, your experiences. We've been getting a lot of jokes coming in this morning as well. If you want to send some of them in, fair enough, why not? And you can also get in touch with me, Laura Mcghie, on social media, of course. Familiar sound if you've been to a football game recently. Maybe you're there every single weekend. That is the atmosphere that you sit in for hours on end. But could the experience be a little different soon enough? Well, apparently, football needs a modern approach to alcohol being drunk in the stands, an MP has said. Legislation from 1985 bans fans from consuming alcohol in view of the pitch in the top 5 tiers of the men's game in England. And we know that they can't drink alcohol in the men's game in Scotland either, the women's game in Scotland, the women's game in England as well. At the time, it was part of attempts to eradicate hooliganism. But other sports have not been affected by the ban. So the Labour MP for York Outer, Luke Charters, said it was time trials took place to see what impact lifting the restrictions might have. What do you think about this? I want to know if you think bringing back alcohol to football games is a good idea. Why now? We've not had it for long enough. Why change it now? Does it bother you not being able to have a drink at the game? You can have a drink at the pub beforehand, but does it bother you that you're not sitting there watching the game and you've not got a pint in your hands? Are football crowds better behaved these days, and actually they should be given the chance to have alcohol, to enjoy it whilst they are watching football? Or is it a stereotype, in your opinion, that football fans are unruly? You can drink at rugby games, so why not football? Get in touch with your views. We have had some texts into 5 Live about this. very, very point this morning. This one from Ray saying, never want beer in the stadium seats. It would be a nightmare. Total disruption. Beer everywhere. The minority would spoil it. Here is another one. Doesn't have a name on it. People never used to drink at a football stadium. You go to your local beforehand. Why would anyone want to stand freezing trying to drink a £9 ice-cold beer at a freezing stadium in November? Football at the so-called top level is going out of a working class agenda. Very, very interesting. This one, bear in mind that the Welsh Rugby Union has a big issue with drinking in the National Stadium. It's not all rosy in rugby. And this one here from John, rugby crowds are very different to football crowds and you know it. Do you agree with any of our texters this morning? Get your thoughts in. Would love to hear them. 85058 is the number that you can punch into your phone so that you can send that text, and you can also phone in 08085 909 693 if you want to directly speak to me on the airwaves over the next few hours, and I would love to speak to you, so get involved. And finally, for you this morning, I have a question. I do indeed have a question. What is a Nepo baby? Well, it is shorthand for the children of celebrities who often find themselves fast-tracked into industries such as film, fashion, music, politics. While most 13-year-olds were spending their Monday evening stressing over homework, awkward school crushes and what to post on TikTok, Blue Ivy Carter was performing in front of a crowd of 70,000 people alongside her mother, Beyoncé, on the opening night of her Cowboy Carter tour. So,